And let's talk about Avengers Doomsday. So after, the other day, the last time we did a show, we talked about the Avengers Doomsday trailer. We talked a bit about that when, the first one with Captain America came out. Oh, sorry, Steve Rogers, because he's not Captain America yet. Remember, he gave up the shield to uh Sam Wilson. Sidebar. I'm also hearing stories that came out today. They're recasting Danny Ramirez's role in the upcoming season of The Last of Us because of scheduling conflicts. Remember, he was in season 2. It remind me of that scene where that freaking bitch went and killed my Pedro Pascal. And he was up in that scene too. But yeah, so due to schedule conflicts, he's no longer going to be playing the character he played in that show. So they're going to be recasting the role. It'd be interesting to see what they pick. But yeah, so they already showed that. Then we talked about the teaser with Thor, where he was praying to Odin about, this new responsibility that he has with this kid love and all the other things that's been going on with that. And then we see all the pictures and everything, well, him kissing her in the bed and him the prayer and all the other stuff. And then it says that Thor will be back in Avengers Doomsday, the same thing. Blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Another whatever video. Was a little underwhelmed, kind of like I was underwhelmed with the previous one. So now we have a third trailer that I did tell y'all the other day that according to Jeff Snyder, the team is going to be coming out, that he said that the third trailer he's hearing is going to be an X-Men trailer with Cyclops, which turned out to be true. Then they said another trailer is supposed to be coming out with the Wakandans and Fantastic Four. I believe all in the same trailer. I don't know what the context of it is, but that is the rumor that's going around. And then they said that a fifth trailer will be the official trailer, which I'm hearing will be dropping. The rumor is, so just take it as a rumor, will be coming out around the Super Bowl. So you'll be able to see the trailer during the Super Bowl, which I think would be smart for them to actually air a full 2.5 minute full on trailer. 3 minutes, I would say, push it, because you got a lot of characters. So you want to give us as much eye candy to get us hyped as possible. But let me tell you something. When I was reading about what was going on with this, and I'm hearing all the stories regarding this third trailer with X-Men and whatever, I'm like, okay, you want to know something? I'm about to take it back. Because you remember before, I was like, I don't know. I'm still on the fence about Avengers Doomsday, and rightfully so, because of all the drama that was going on with the MCU and not really giving us anything noteworthy and memorable post Endgame. Like we've had a couple of movies here and there, Shang-Chi, Thunderbolts. I liked, a couple of movies that have come out over the years. I thoroughly enjoyed, but a lot of them I was kind of like disappointed with, and I don't want to keep reiterating that because I've talked about it ad nauseum on the show. But after hearing this whole thing about X-Men, I'm like, okay, y'all got me sold. I cannot wait for this movie to come out. I'm excited now. I'm still on the fence about the whole Robert Downey Jr. Dr. Doom, but I need to see him in action before I fully change my mind. But based off of from what I've been hearing, they're like, oh no, trust and believe, this movie is going to, it's going to be one of the best movies that we're going to be able to, look, one of the highly anticipated, one of the best movies we're going to be, and we're going to be satisfied as fans come the end of 2026 when this movie comes out. So there was a quote that Magneto, because they show a scene of Magneto and Charles Xavier sitting and playing chess. I think that the school for gifted children, whatever, school's been dismantled, whatever the case is. And Magneto says a line. He goes, "Death comes for us all. That's all I know for sure. The question isn't, are you prepared to die? The question is, who would you be when you close your eyes?" And I'm like, first of all, I need to get that tattooed on my arm. Maybe in hieroglyphics or something. But I'm just like, yeah, that's a really good thing, because it's sort of like, yeah, we all die, but it's like, when we die, did we make an impact? Did we do the things that we did to like change not only our lives, but other people that we've encountered over the years? And so when you look at that, it's like, yeah, who would you be when you close your eyes at the end of the day? Did you make some kind of an impact? So I like that line. That's a very biting line. So shout out to whoever wrote that. And then they said, so the third Avengers Doomsday teaser trailer has leaked in its entirety. And if you had any doubts about what the Russo brothers are cooking up, this should help ease your mind. So in the trailer, they said if you get to see ruins of the X Mansion. The classic Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters sign is shown amid the rubble before we find Professor X and Magneto in the middle of a game of chess. The two old friends place their hands together in a brotherly gesture, and we see Charles Xavier in his classic X wheelchair, like the one in the original X-Men movies, not Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Magneto, meanwhile, appears to have long hair and a beard. Now we're taken to a battlefield where a bloody Cyclops removes his visor and allows his optic blast to shoot into the sky. A Sentinel can be seen walking in the background, hinting that Scott Summers is the last mutant left standing. Now, didn't we have Sentinels in Days of Future Past? Which, sidebar, is my all-time favorite X-Men movie. I like all the X-Men. Well, I have a love-hate relationship with all the other X-Men movies. X2, way better than X1, in my opinion. But Days of Future Past, oh my God, that opening sequence still gives me goosebumps. So I love that freaking movie. And I believe there were Sentinels in that film, right? But if we really getting to see like a full showdown of Sentinels and all this other stuff, that's gonna be awesome. And from based over this, where they're saying like, yeah, Cyclops is going to battle with a bunch of Sentinels. We'll probably see some mutants get unalived, and it'll be interesting to see who those are. But I'm also hearing that, yeah, they're finally gonna make use of Cyclops because Scott's been wasted. If you look at a lot of the other movies that have come out from, we don't even talk about Brett Ratner as problematic, ex abuser ass, and Bryan Singer. They really love giving problematic people jobs. So all the X-Men movies, but excluding Matthew Vaughn, Bryan Singer and Brett Ratner, trash, alleged abusers. And I didn't like the fact that both of them wasted Scott Summers as a character. But I guess if he looked like he was 12 years old and was willing to go to a pool party thrown by, Bryan Singer, he probably would have had a fatter role in the X-Men universe. But I guess because he's a married heterosexual male, that wasn't going to happen. But anyway, so I like the fact that we got the Russos, according to the reports, that are actually going to put his character to use. And we'll actually get to see him really showcase power. Because when you look at Scott, if you read the X-Men comics, he is like one of the most powerful mutants. And the fact that him and Storm just wasted them in the franchise, that just pissed me off about Bryan Singer and the whole X-Men situation. So I'm really hoping, because they ain't say, that Halle Berry is in this movie so we can see her character get some kind of justice too. Because I hate the fact that y'all have wasted my girl Storm. Basically having her, like, how is it Jean Grey doing more than her? Especially when it's like holding back water. It's like, hello, Storm is somebody who weathers the storm. She weathers all kinds of things. She is the queen of nature. How you just got her in a goddamn plane trying to fly everybody out of safety at the end of X2, and then you got Jean Grey in the water holding back the water and then let it go and drown her so she becomes the Phoenix. And fuck out of here with that. Do I sound like I'm upset? Anyway, that's me getting in my whole comic book nerd type situation. But anyway, so let's get back into the thing. So then they said they're taken to the battlefield, as I said before, where the bloody Cyclops removes his visor and allows his optic blast to shoot into the sky. A Sentinel could be seen walking in the background, hinting that Scott Summers is the last mutant left standing. Now, hold on, because I want to show y'all the pictures that I had acquired from Twitter. I had to leave it open in case somebody threw it, got rid of them. So yeah, that's one of the pictures. As you can see, that Scott Summers in the classic X-Men suit. You see like the blue and the yellow and all other stuff, and the blast is going up in the sky. It's not a really good shot, but at least we get to see something. So, and then we have this picture of Professor Xavier at the table. This is based on the description. He's playing chess with Magneto. And then we have another picture of Scott where he's like dirty, the hair is a little muffled. I like James Marsden. I almost said Marsders. And that's for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. James Marsden, I like him. He was in I just saw him, I told you, I saw him a couple of weeks ago at the Knicks game. So, well, no, I think it was a Rangers game actually. I'm confused. It was at one of the games at the Garden. Saw him there. It might have been a Knicks game. The same one where they had the two actors from, I think, the Somebody Turned Pretty kissed on camera. He was at that game where everybody was making a big deal out of that. So yeah. So Now, and then the teaser also ends with the X-Men will return in Avengers Doomsday and another countdown to the movie's release next December. Now, between the nostalgia of Cyclops' comic accurate costume and the presence of Sentinels, all signs point that to the Russo brothers giving fans exactly what they want from this movie. As for where these scenes fit into Avengers Doomsday, that's up for debate, but all does not appear well in X-Men's reality. It'll be interesting to see how they do this. Like, do we destroy a lot of the old X-Men and then this is like the start of let's bring in the newer, like much younger cast where they're trying to do like a soft, like they'll use Avengers Doomsday as a soft reboot for the X-Men. Because if I mean maybe you don't know this, but X-Men is one of Kevin Feige's favorite like comic book characters. He loves that franchise. So Kevin Feige is not going to let this, go by the wayside and not do these characters justice. So I think he wants to and clearly it's nostalgia bait. So it's a lot of us who grew up on the first three phases of the MCU. Also, X-Men and all the stuff that came out like 20 damn near 30 years ago. So you're trying to draw us in, a lot of the younger kids whose parents raised them up on those movies that I grew up on. We're all going to be in the theater. Yes, it's nostalgia bait, but I always say I don't mind nostalgia bait as long as it's done correctly. And if you're going to sit up in here and tug at my strings and get me in there just so that way I can feel nostalgic about characters I grew up on, but also have the story go in a direction that's really cool and entertaining, then I'm here for it. I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh, he's doing nostalgia, it's corny, whatever. It's like, as long as you find something interesting to do with the characters, then I'm here for it. And I'm looking forward to it. Now that I'm hearing all this, I'm actually looking forward to this movie. We don't need to go into who's going to be starring in Avengers Doomsday because we talked about that till we've been blue in the face. It's like 150 damn characters in this movie. And how they figure out how they all going to fit up in here, that just remains to be seen. I just hope, like, if this movie is 3 hours plus, that is worth the 3 hours. Like, if you're gonna make it about as long as an Avatar movie, just make use of the characters y'all got and make them all fit in where y'all need to fit it in, and not just have them making bona fide cameos. Because I'm gonna be tight if that's what y'all do with that. But anyway, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Based on this tea that's coming out from the photo still into the saying that, yeah, there's a sequence where, Cyclops, who was the last mutant standing, because I'm sure that when we see the movie, we'll see who's in the middle of this battle in this X-Men universe. Um, him fighting Sentinels and all other stuff, and where this story could be going in regards of how Doctor Doom fits in all of this. And I'm really hoping that y'all will include Doctor Doom in the major trailer. If you're not going to do these little teasers, make sure you center him in the trailer. If it turns out to be true that you're going to be releasing it around the Super Bowl, because if you don't put him out there, then that would be a mistake on your part, Disney. Like, you can edge us up, you can edge us a little bit. But if we get to the point of climax and it don't deliver, if we don't have that orgasmic, euphoric situation that happens with all of these little teasers you're purposely leaking to get us buzzing and excited for 2026 December, then it's going to be hell to pay on y'all part, and y'all can't afford that right now. Not with all the drama and the way that the fans have been pretty much disappointed with a lot of y'all rollouts as of late. So this is a do or die type situation on your part. But anyway, so with all that being said, let me know what your overall thoughts on this story are in the comments down below.